Well, shoot. Okay. Oh, no, there we go. Okay. Yes, okay. We're live. Hey, everybody. Stevig's Log. We are live from the laundry room. And, yeah, I got some things to talk about. I got a haircut, as you can see. A lot of you maybe didn't know that. But I got a haircut. So, yeah, that's cool. And, I got the red velvet shirt on. I found it. I've had this thing since 1999. It is the easily the oldest surviving piece of clothing that I have. I've never had any other clothes that have lasted me this long. But for some reason, this thing's like a bad penny, and it keeps showing up everywhere I move. And so my sister had it at her house. Apparently, it was in a bag of clothes that I bagged up out of my apartment when I moved out. So, yeah. Uh, so yeah, red velvet shirt. Got the got the red velvet. Yeah. So okay, let's dive in. Gonna start off kind of mild. First of all, I wanted to tell a story. So yesterday, well, no. Let's back it up. About a week ago, I get an invite from a guy to join his expository ministry page group. So I join it. I find it really interesting. I tend to get a lot of stuff out of the um, content that's on there. So I'm like, yeah, this is cool. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Yeah, because yeah. Okay, so I get on there and I'm like, I'm gonna contribute to this. So I posted my last Stevig's log video that I did, where I talk about it, where I did the run through of my presentation, and I posted on there and it got removed. And I was like, I don't know why it got removed. I never really found out why. So a few days later, I finally get a notification saying you now have posting privileges in this group. I'm like, oh, that's probably why it got removed. So I posted it again. Is it there? I don't know. I really don't. I really don't care anymore. But anyway, so back, I digress. So anyway, this guy invited me to this group, and I've been enjoying it. And so yesterday, he sends me a friend request. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be able to talk to this guy after all, and like get to know him, because like most of his friends are like pastors and stuff like that from all over the country. Um, and I thought, well, so he sent me a friend request. I'm like, wow, I feel honored to be part of his elite theological group here. So I get excited, and he messages me. I'm like, oh, cool. So he messages me. Well, as it turns out, who is... Stop messaging me. I'm in the middle of something. Forgot I have it on my phone. So, as it turns out, unfortunately, the guy got hacked. And he's trying to get me to do this and that to get money. So I'm like, well, okay. Um, so that was kind of a letdown. And whoever this is that's talking through his account, trying to get me to do things to get money, um, he won't leave me alone about it. Like, I straight up told him, look, dude, you hacked this guy, and now you're trying to... I'm not interested. I don't care. Stop talking to me. Is exactly what I told him. But, like, I don't know. He keeps messaging me. So, like, I don't know. So, anyway, so it reminded me of a story um, about how I met somebody else that I looked up to under less than ideal circumstances. So let's go back to 2008, and I'm in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Hold on a minute. I'm trying to get my girlfriend in here because she wanted to join. Okay. I already told her this story yesterday, but I'm going to tell all of you because it's a fun, interesting story, and it's the kind of thing that doesn't happen to just anybody. Okay, you know what? Hold on. I'm going to give her a couple more minutes. I'm going to go grab my coffee. I don't normally drink coffee. I normally drink tea, but I have coffee today, so I'm going to go grab it. I'll be right back. Oh my gosh. Just get in here. There she is. Hi, baby. Yay! Okay, so I had to go get my coffee. I have coffee today, not tea. I'm out of sweet tea, and I have to fight three other people for the use of the coffee maker. They've always got coffee made in it. I don't ever have a chance to make tea in it, so I just decided, screw it, I'm just going to drink the coffee and make it gone so I can make tea. Because I've got Australian afternoon to try, and I'm really looking forward to trying it. So, I've got this, so that Twinings has a new kind of tea out there. It's called Australian Afternoon. And I am so very excited to try it. I haven't tried it yet. I have a box of 100 tea bags. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm looking forward to trying it. Probably today. So I will let you guys know. That's not bad. That's some pretty good coffee right there. Yeah, buddies. Okay, so back to the story. Okay, so it's 2008, and I'm in Albuquerque, New Mexico, right? And 2008, and I'm in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Oh, get in. And so I decide I'm going to go to the library with my friend Anna. So we go to the library, and we're at the library, and I'm just looking around, and I just happened, it was as if God, by his providence, directed me to a section I had not usually gone to before. And I walked into the back against the wall, and in one of those back aisles, I found a random book. I don't even remember. It was like I was directed to it by God or something. It's the only thing I can explain. But there it sat. It was called The Music of Star Trek by Jeff Bond. And little did I know that book would change my life. That's not an exaggeration. That book changed my life. So I got this book. I checked it out. I read it multiple times. It basically breaks down like all the musical elements and talks about the music of Star Trek, the original series, the Next Generation, all the Star Trek shows through Voyager. So I check this book out. I read it multiple times. I love this book. I can't get enough of it.
You been here this whole time?
Huh? Yeah, everybody left me.
I've been back there in the cold trying to, and Tim just straight being a dick. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I had to go to Roswell, sit there and get warmed up. I got. Because nobody answered. I need your number.
Huh?
I need your number.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. I wish I could pause this.
That way, because my schedule's already changed too.
Yeah.
What is it?
812?
Yeah.
822
822
4478.
4478.
Yeah. That way you can call me and I'll let you in.
Yeah, because I was up there.
No kidding, dude.
Tim started just kind of cussing me out.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's what I told you that. All right, damn, bro. Really? That. I remember that.
Okay.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
So I'm reading this book, and I'm learning about the music of Star Trek, and it inspired me to go back and take a whole new look at the music of the show and to gain a deep appreciation for it and what was going on with it. So I started watching the show, paying more attention to the music, figuring out what it was doing. I quickly realized that it was reused from episode to episode, which, the book explains. And eventually it inspired me to make the music suites that I've made. Here we are, it's 2013, and La 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 Land Records releases a 15-disc box set of the entire library of music that was ever recorded for the show on a 15-disc box set. And it was like $200. I said, dude, I have to have that. So I bought it. And I ended up putting it on my computer, and it's why I have the entire library of music from the show. It's on my computer. I use it for video editing and all kinds of stuff. In 2013, I started making music suites of every episode of Star Trek, and basically what that entailed is I would go through the episode and painstakingly identify. I wouldn't watch the episode. I would just listen to the episode, because I learned a long time ago when recording music that if you close your eyes while listening to music and pay attention to what's going on sonically, and you're not distracted by what you see, your sense of hearing increases, and you're able to pick up more detail than if you're seeing it and hearing it. Don't divide your attention, your sensory attention, so to speak. So what I would do is I would listen. I would dump the episode into an audio file. I would play it. I would play the audio back, and I would listen to it intently so that I could identify exactly what music cue was being used where and when in the episode, and I would string all those musical cues from an episode together into a music suite. And basically, you listen to it, and it's like, this is all the music from that episode. And I did that with all 79 episodes over the course of 2 years. All because that book inspired me. And eventually, I got my own copy of it for my own library. And so I got my own copy of it for my own personal library. I hope I still have it. I don't know. It might be in the box of books that my girlfriend has out in Ohio. Maybe. I can only hope. But I got my own copy, and it is what inspired me to make all these music suites. I started with The City on the Edge of Forever, and the last one I did was For the World is Hollow, and I Have Touched the Sky in March of 2015. So I remember thinking, I don't know who this Jeff Bond guy is, but I really want to meet him and shake his hand and tell him what an influence his book has had on my life. So I remember thinking that, and life went on. By 2014, I had started to take my love for making these music suites to the next level, and I wanted to share them with people. So what I would do is I would make a title card. I would stick it in a video with the music suite, and I would upload it to YouTube. So I had them all on YouTube, all the ones that I had made up to that point. They were all on YouTube, and people were liking it. People were, commenting on it. Where can I get the audio files for these? Blah, 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 blah. So one day, I wake up to 3 new friend requests. I accept them, and they all message me pretty much immediately after accepting them. One of which, by the way, is Mr. Jeff Bond, the author of that book. And I'm like, dude, I'm like a kid in a candy store. It's like my dream come true, and I get to meet a hero of mine. And so basically, they all message me, and they basically tell me, "Hey, you need to take your videos down off of YouTube. They're hurting the sales of our 15 disc box set." My immediate reaction is, "Oh no, that 15 disc box set changed my life. Like, I want everybody to go buy one." So I took them all down. I complied. I had no problem with that. I took them all down and messaged several people on YouTube that had requested them. And a couple of them friended me on Facebook, and I eventually got them to them specifically. But I took them down off of YouTube. So pretty much two of the three wouldn't talk to me after that. They just simply said, "Hey, take your stuff down," which I did. But I actually got to have a conversation with Jeff Bond, and it was pretty cool. He appreciated that I have the same love for Star Trek music that he does. He said it's guys like me that make his job so much fun and worthwhile. See, he works for La La Land Records, loves Star Trek music. He was one of the guys on the team that took the old 8mm tape or whatever it is, whatever it's called, on the reels. That's what they used to use back in the 60s to record the music for the original series. He actually took that and did a dump of it to his computer so they could start rebuilding it digitally, preserving the integrity of the sound quality and all that good stuff. So he actually does that, not just for Star Trek music, but for other things, I think, too. But so he appreciated it. We had a big, long conversation, couple hours long, about what the book meant to me, how it's influenced me and inspired me, stuff like that. So I mean, that was kind of cool. So when this guy messaged me yesterday, going all the way back to my previous point, I thought it was going to be one of those situations, but sadly he just got hacked and was trying to, get me to do stuff for money. And so that sucks, and he's still talking to me. But anyway, so I currently have Irish breakfast in my cup. I currently have coffee in my cup because, as I explained, I have to fight 3 other people for the use of that coffee maker in my room, and they always have coffee in it, and I want to make tea in it, and I don't ever have a chance because there's always coffee in it, and they're always making coffee in it. Today I'm going to try the Australian afternoon. I'm going to make some, and I'm going to try it because I want to. I'm very eager to try it. So yes. So there's that. So that's the story of how Star Trek music and that book specifically launched and ignited my love for Star Trek music. I'd never really noticed the music in Star Trek before I read that book. It was there. I just never noticed it before. It took that book for me to be like, you know what? I should probably pay attention to what's going on in the music in this show. And I started to, and it led me down an entire life path of discovery and enthusiasm. So that's the story. I had another story, and now I don't remember what it was. Okay, here's a story I can... Okay, so I want to talk for a minute about how... Okay, so... I have recently partnered with a guy in Haiti that I've known since 2017, and he runs a ministry down there. He lives in Haiti, and he's a Haitian who does this ministry. He feeds hungry people. I don't know if they're homeless or not, but hungry people that need food, clothing, hygiene, etc., stuff like that. So he helps them. So I partnered with him. His ministry is called The Voice for the Voiceless. I know I've sent many of you out invites to go like the page, and we're slowly getting started trying to make something of it. Hey Dan, what's up? Why did that pop up? I don't know. Okay. Dan, I went to high school with Dan. I haven't seen him since high school. We talk every now and then on here every once in a while. For this world love you. Okay, so I'm partnering with this guy. In Haiti, and I'm trying to help him promote his ministry, stuff like that. Get some more support for his ministry, stuff like that. This is where there's a story. Okay, so I met this guy in 2017. A friend of my aunt's and my mom's messaged me. I was talking to her. I've gotten to be pretty good friends with her on Facebook. I never really knew her before, but she was my aunt's best friend, and she was pretty good friends with my mom when they were growing up. So I'm talking to her about, in 2017, I was very frustrated and beat down by life. I was holding my own. God had blessed me. I had my own house. I rented a 3-bedroom house in Kentucky for $400 a month, and so that was pretty sweet. I converted one of the small bedrooms into an office where I had my computer set up and I had my books not set up. They were in a box, which I used as a table to prop my feet up on. Baby, you probably remember that, because you were there, and I used to prop my feet up on that box. And it had all my books and Bibles and stuff like that in it. It's a huge box, heavy box, full of books. So I rented this house, and I was very inundated by the financial situation. I worked approximately 29 to 32 hours a week at the IGA gas station, where I made gas station log, if y'all remember that. And so I was, and I barely made enough money to get by. I basically got paid my bills, and was broke for the next 2 weeks until I got paid again. And I was very frustrated. I'm like, dude, God, you sent me out of Egypt into the wilderness so I could die, kind of thing. Why did you do this? And so, but I was blessed because I was dating Kayla at the time, my current girlfriend. We got back together in September, and she's the love of my life, and she makes my life very happy. So this is back in 2018. We got together in November of 2018. And so it's it's early 2019, and I'm very inundated. No, it's 2018, and I'm very inundated by life. No, my bad. It's 2017, and my wife had just left me. I was in a very dark place. I was coming out of it. See, what happened is she left me. I went to stay at Kayla's house while she was with a guy named Corey. They fought all the time, which didn't help my mental state. But I had a place to stay. I had a bed to sleep in, and I would get up and go to work. And eventually, I had to move into a motel converted into like long stay apartment like things. I was staying there. I was working. I was paying my bills, able to afford a few things. So in July of 2018, I moved into this 3-bedroom house for $400 a month. And that's when I was blessed, but financially, it was very difficult for me, and I was very frustrated. And I'm messaging this lady who was friends with my aunt and my mom about how I'm frustrated and how I just want to get away from it all. and maybe go be a missionary somewhere. So, so she introduced me to this guy in Haiti, and I found him on Facebook. We started talking, and I started supporting his ministry, and I was looking at going down there and doing mission work with him. Well, that didn't pan out at all. I basically threw the fleece out and tested God and said, okay, God, I'm going to create a fundraiser so that I can get a passport, so that I can go down there to Haiti if that's what you want me to do. So I created a fundraiser, and nobody gave anything. $0. So I'm like, well, I guess this is not going to happen. I guess I'm not going to Haiti to be a missionary down there. And it just kind of fizzled out. I lost touch with the guy for years, and life brought me up to Bloomington, Indiana. I was working at Kroger South, had my own apartment, hanging out with my mom and my sister because they live here, and my other mom, my biological mother and sister live here. Not the same mom that knew that lady, so here, I'm up here in Bloomington, Indiana. I end up here at Wheeler Mission. I worked my way through the foundation program, through the servant leader training program, and now I'm staff here. I work here. And this guy gets a hold of me, and he's like, hey, brother, how's it going? And I miss being connected to you, stuff like that. So we start talking, and I feel God put it on my heart to get back involved in his ministry and help him. I'm clearly not going to go to Haiti. I work in full-time ministry now. So I'm here. I can't really go anywhere. So I'm going to do what I can, and God has given me lots of ideas, and he's told me of some things that he needs. I definitely have a clear plan of what I intend to do, but I'm going to help him from here, because technology is great and the internet is great for that kind of stuff. And so I'm going to help him from here, basically be his backstage guy. That sounded better in my head. Anyway, coffee. So I guess we'll just see what God does with it and how he promotes this ministry. And so, yeah, I've got a few people that are interested and want to know more information about how to support this guy. So we'll just wait and see what happens. So, I remember the other thing I was going to talk about. Okay, Kayla's going to blush. I had a conversation with my friend Ben yesterday about all the things that she does for me, and I was able to figure out what they were and articulate them. I want to talk about them. I just want to talk about why I believe she is the perfect one for me, why she's my soulmate, and why she's so important to me. So, ever since I was a little kid, I have been dreaming about a particular girl that looks a particular way. And what's interesting is when I was 17, I met a girl who fit that description. And I thought, well, this is her. This is the girl I've been dreaming about all my life. And I was crazy in love with her, had a huge crush on her. I know she liked me, but nothing ever came of it. Okay. Nothing ever came of it. And so I'm just like, okay, whatever. Still had this huge crush on her. kept running into it, and hardly ever got to see her anywhere. We didn't get a hold of each other. Years went by. Years, over a decade, I'm talking. Years went by, and nothing ever came of it. We were always friends. We would run into each other randomly 3 times over the course of 15 years. And every time I ran into her, it sent me into an emotional spiral where I ended up writing a song about her, and I was obsessed with her. And nothing ever came of it. Then in 2001? No, 2011, my bad. 2011. Okay, so 2011, I get a phone call. And I found out that she was trying to pick up the pieces of her life and get away from some of her bad decisions that she's made. And she went to St. Louis for some kind of a conference on veterinary animal care. She loved animals, loved ferrets, stuff like that. So while she was there, her ex-boyfriend followed her there, tied her up and murdered her in her hotel room. And I was absolutely devastated. Like, my heart was shattered into a million pieces. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And it haunted me. Her death haunted me for about 15 years. I've finally since gotten over it, but it haunted me for 15 years. And I met Kayla in 2016, and I didn't realize it until about 2018 when I finally got to see pictures of when she was a teenager, when she was that age, and I realized, oh my gosh, the girl I've been dreaming about all these years was not Jen, it was her. So I've literally met the girl I've been dreaming about since I was a kid. Hold on. I don't want to miss anything. I'm going to pull up the text conversation and I'm going to find out everything I said to him because I don't want to miss anything. I want to spell it all out. Ben Jackson. Okay. Metroid Prime. Here we go. All the way back to here. All the way back to here. Studio Ghibli pics. So, okay. So, I specifically remember being at her mom's house. And, being in her mom's house, and her mom is we're packing up because we're getting ready to move to Ohio. It's 2019, and she pulls out this picture. She's going through stuff, and she's got a bunch of pictures. Pulls out this picture of when Kayla got married to her first husband. And I look at this picture, and that's when it hits me. That was the moment it clicked. And I realized, because, like, I had a dream in 2007 that I was living in a house. I was married to what I knew at the time to be the most amazing woman that I'd ever known, far exceeding anything that I'd ever experienced from a woman. Like, it was in a whole nother realm. Which actually is another point to this story that I didn't think about yesterday. I'll get back to that. So anyway, so in this dream, I remember seeing her. Remember, it's 2007. Again, I assumed it was Jen Gertzen. Because Jen was the only girl at the time I knew that fit that description. So here we are. It's 2018. I see this picture of her getting married, and I realize, oh my gosh, that's the girl from that dream. And And I realized that it was never Jen. Jen was close. She was a type of that girl, but she clearly didn't have the character that would have made her the most amazing woman I've ever known. But so I realized, dude, it's been Kayla all along. I just didn't know her to know that it was her. So all of this has been rattling around my brain since I was a kid. And so she's the girl I've been dreaming about. Okay, so I described how I believe she's my soulmate. Number one, she wants to do ministry with me. She's helping me help this guy from Haiti. She wishes she could help the homeless like I do. She wishes she had my job. She loves Star Trek, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit. She got good taste in music. She likes all the stuff I listened to in the 90s. She likes all the country songs I grew up listening to during the first 15 years of my life. So everybody remembers the music that they grew up listening to, like in the first 12 years of their life. It's special to them. Because, like, you know, I don't know, it just is. Like, I grew up listening to 80s country. Randy Travis, Gary Morris, Trisha Yearwood, Reba McEntire, stuff like that. Okay, especially, and Randy Travis was always a favorite of mine. And so, like, I always loved this music, and I kind of filed it away in the back of my head as this is the music I grew up listening to. It has a special place in my heart, and yeah, it's in the safe folder in my heart. So I met Kayla and found out she listens to all that music. So here we are, we're driving down the road, going for drives, just talking, hanging out, whatever. And we're listening to all this music, and it brings it all back to me and makes it brand new. It adds another layer of context to music that was already special to me, and now it's even more special to me because she reignites it and makes it new for me. In fact, our song is an old Randy Travis song that I grew up listening to. I'm not going to talk about that. So basically, she far exceeds anything I thought I could ever have in a girlfriend. I plan on marrying her someday. I want to spend the rest of my life with her while we cuddle and watch Star Trek and play Zelda games and Metroid games. Oh, and I didn't even talk about that aspect. Okay, so she's another thing. She's always been my biggest supporter, my biggest fan of everything I've ever done. She has my entire collection of music that I've written and recorded. She loves all of it. She's watched every episode of Gas Station Log that I've made. I can say that about no one else. But she does that because she loves it. She fantasizes about me playing music on stage, preaching sermons or teaching the Bible. She loves me in a way that no one ever has. When we broke up in 2020, neither one of us ever stopped loving the other. In fact, we stalked each other for 6 years. Let's see. Basically, I let her go and God brought her back to me and said, hey, you might need this. And so I'm never letting her go again. Because you know what they say, when you let something go, if it comes back to you, keep it. She sends me selfies that are absolutely adorable. She is the most cute, adorable, beautiful, hot, sexy woman I've ever seen in my life. And yeah, I guess that's it, because that's when we started talking about video games. So, yeah. Um, so that's basically, um, yeah, so that's what she does for me. And that's why I'm never leaving her again. And that's why she is the love of my life and the woman of my and the girl of my dreams. So yeah. And it's already been 40 minutes. Okay. Now I want to talk about something heavier and more theological. I want to address an error that I see in American Christianity and that I've been wading through for the past 3 years. One of the things they teach here in Foundations and in the SLT program, one of the memory verses for one of the early chapters in Self-Confrontation, I need to pull up an image on my phone. Files. It's in here. It's all the way back. All the way back. I got a lot of scrolling to do here. I gotta pull this up for reference. Where is it? Here it is. Okay. So, one of the things they teach here is that Christians shouldn't judge. Because Matthew 7, 1 and 5 says, "Do not judge lest ye be judged. You hypocrite. First take the log out of your own eye before looking to take the speck out of your brother's eye." And they teach it that way. However, that removes it from the rest of its context. And I want to talk about the rest of its context and what that verse actually says and what that verse actually means. It says, so let's start in verse 1, "Do not judge lest ye be judged." Okay, so Jesus is saying, if you judge, you will be judged. Verse 2, which conveniently is omitted from this memory verse and from the teaching in the book, says, "But for by the measure that you judge, you will also be judged." So he's further drawing this statement out. He's saying, if you judge, you will be judged. For the way you judge is how you will be judged. Now, God spoke to me about this verse and how you apply it. So basically, if you judge harshly, you will be judged harshly. If you judge and form a verdict in your head and act on it and treat somebody less than how God sees them, he's going to judge you the same way. But if you judge with, you see, every mental decision you make is a judgment. Everybody judges. And these other verses that I'm going to hit on here talk about how you can't not judge. So everybody judges everything. They make decisions about things and how they feel about things and what they think about things. So Jesus basically teaches us, by the measure in which you judge, you will be judged. And the caveat to that he gave me when he spoke to me about this passage is, if you judge harshly, you will be judged harshly. But if you judge with compassion and look upon those who are less than you with compassion and grace and mercy, the way that God judges you, because he judges us too, he chooses to show us grace and mercy and compassion by wanting to draw us to himself. So if we do that, God will do that for us. He will judge us the same way we judge others. So the crux of this entire passage is not only, we'll get to verse 5 when we get to it. But basically, Jesus starts off by saying, if you judge people, make sure you judge people righteously. If you do, then God will judge you righteously. So it goes on. We get down to verse 5, and it talks about how first remove the log out of your own eye before you remove the speck out of your brother's eye. It does say to examine yourself and to take the sin out of your life before judging your brother for the sin in his life, because that is a judgment. Coming to somebody in gentle rebuke is still a judgment, and that is the context of the word that Jesus is using and how he is using it. Everything is a judgment. A lot of people will say, no, he's using the word like if you're a judge banging a gavel, issuing a sentence and a verdict. It does to a certain point, but a judgment is any decision that you make. So we judge people all the time, every day. We have to be careful about how we judge them, what kind of decisions we make, what kind of conclusions we make. And sometimes it's okay to say that person has bad energy. I don't want to be around them. I'm not going to associate with them. But we can't treat them as though they're less than us. We can gently rebuke them. And so okay, so let's go to these other verses. Okay. Zoom in a little bit. No, don't do that, because then I can't see the whole thing. Okay, so basically I've got this meme here that I saved in my phone about a year or so ago. It basically says, telling a person not to judge is not only unbiblical, but it's also self-defeating, since you're making a judgment about someone judging others. There is a difference between righteous judgments and unrighteous judgments. That's what Jesus is talking about in Matthew 7. The Bible tells us to make righteous judgments. So John 7:24. Shoot. Let me see if I can pull this up here. John 7:24. Okay, so John 7:24 says, do not judge by appearances, but judge with right judgment. So basically it's saying, don't judge on the surface. Get to know somebody and make righteous judgments. And if necessary, gently rebuke them. But don't judge them harshly, and don't judge them by superficial judgments of what you think you know about somebody. But make righteous judgments. The Bible also tells us to reprove, rebuke, and exhort. 2 Timothy 4:2, which is also a judgment. You've decided in your mind, you have made the judgment that such and such person has sinned and that they need to be corrected. And we are encouraged to do that as I go on down through this list. So the Bible tells us to exhort and rebuke with all authority. Titus 2:15. The Bible says the spiritual person judges all things. 1 Corinthians 2:15. The Bible tells us to expose evil. Ephesians 5:11. And it goes on to say there's a whole book called in the Bible called Judges, but that's just a tack on. That's not even relevant to this. But anyway, so basically we are instructed to judge people. I've seen other memes that basically say the person that says you can't judge me has no idea what the Bible says, because as I've stated here in about 6 different verses, that we are supposed to judge. We're supposed to judge righteously with grace and compassion and mercy. So when we see somebody sleeping on a park bench or under a bridge, we're not supposed to say, oh, they're tearing down society, and think they're a despicable human being. But a righteous judgment is to say, wow, they look like they're really hurting. I'm going to help them. I'm going to get them some food, get them some clothes, whatever it is, That is a righteous judgment, and we are commanded to do those things. If a brother is caught in sin, we are commanded to gently rebuke them. Matthew 7:5, in the context of what he's saying about judging righteously, we're commanded, we are told, we're not told to ignore the speck in our brother's eye. We are commanded to first remove the log from our own eye so that we can see clearly, to remove the speck from our brother's eye. We're told to remove that speck from our brother's eye. We have to take care of ourselves first, but we are supposed to remove the speck from our brother's eye. We are supposed to make righteous judgments and not based on appearances. Galatians 6:1 says that if we see a brother caught in sin, we are to restore them gently. We are commanded to remove the speck and restore them, not judge them harshly. So these are all things that the Bible teaches. And the point I want to get across is the people that say, oh, we are not supposed to judge people, don't know how to read their Bible. Because clearly, the Bible says we are supposed to judge people righteously. So, okay. Yeah. Coffee. Coffee is good, and I really like it when I drink it every once in a while. See, I used to drink coffee all the time, every day. 15 years ago, when I lived in Bloomington, Illinois, I used to drink 5 pots of coffee a day. And that was only because I didn't know about black tea. Green tea is okay. Pretty much the only exposure to tea I had was herbal tea, and it just didn't do anything for me. But black tea is my favorite thing in the world. I like it better than coffee. I drink sweet tea, raspberry tea, blackberry tea, Earl Grey, Irish breakfast, English breakfast. I'm about to drink some Australian afternoon. Let's see what else. There are other kinds, I can't think of them. But yeah, so I love tea. It's my new favorite thing. I drink it in just about any form. And I got to a point where I was drinking coffee every day, and it started to make my stomach turn. I would make a pot of coffee. I would pour it in this thing, and I would drink it. And I'd drink about half of it, and I'd be like, ugh, I don't feel very good. It would turn my stomach. And I was like, wow, I never thought I would ever say that. And so, yeah. But I love drinking tea. Tea doesn't do that. So now I drink tea, and I don't drink a whole lot of coffee anymore. But, yeah. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. So now that my girlfriend has ran off in the corner to hide because she's probably blushing, I can literally call her my blushing bride, because she will be someday. So yeah. That's what I got today, guys. Hope you have fun, and Jesus loves you and wants to save you from your sin, because you, sir and ma'am, are a sinner. You were born with a sin nature, and God said, you cannot clean it up and make yourself worthy of me, but I will come and I will clean up your mess so that you can be right with me and with me for all eternity. And so, yeah, that is the gospel. You are a sinful person, and the world denies it and says, no, I'm not. I'm a good person. No, you're not. The Bible says you are sinful and wicked and deserving of death, eternal death. But Jesus said, I will come and clean you up and give you my righteousness. And I paid for your sin on the cross. I died a bloody, gruesome, torturous death so that I could take your sin. So that you can be with me forever, because I made you and I love you and I care about you. So Jesus loves you. Grace and peace. I'm out. 57 minutes.